Ooh, yeah. It's Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light, hit that light. Oh, you're at Mickey's house. Yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Grab a seat, prop your feet. Let's sip some tea, sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. Sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Come on in now. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah, yeah. Come on in and hit that light. Don't forget now. Auntie Mickey's house. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Grown talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice. Respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh, yeah. From the jokes to the prayers, she keeps it real. Keeps it real. Auntie Mickey's house, that's the deal. That's the deal, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. On in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit the light, hit the light, hit the light. You're at Auntie Mickey's, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's, Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. It's Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in her house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat. Grab a seat, come on in and hit that light. Hit that light. Oh, you're at Auntie Mickey's. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Grab a seat, drop your feet, let's sip some tea. Sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah. Come on in and hit that light. Don't forget. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Don't talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice. Respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh yeah. From the jokes to the prayers, she keeps it real. Keeps it real, keeps it real. That's the deal. That's the deal, baby. Yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's come on in and hit that light, hit the light. Oh, you're waiting, Auntie Mickey's. Yeah. Auntie Mickey's house, Auntie Mickey's house, Auntie Mickey's house. Oh.
Good afternoon, y'all. Good afternoon. What is this, Tuesday? Let me get my days together. Let me get my days straight. Is it Tuesday? Put a 1 in the chat if it's Tuesday, because I am totally discombobulated. Let me know. Is this Tuesday? Yep, it is Tuesday. You don't have to put a 1 in the chat. Let me turn my phone off just in case Xavier try to call me during my live. You know, he's good for that. Let me turn off this ringer. That's it. That's it. How y'all doing tonight? How is everyone doing? It's so good to see y'all here. Good to see y'all here. Let me see who is in the house tonight. Of course, I know my baby's up here. There you are. I see you. I see you. You know everything's good in the hood today. Hello, Millionaires Code. How are you, my love? I see Camille in the house. I see Mr. Phillips in the house. Let's see who else is here. LaWanda. Hello, LaWanda. There we go. Hello, Barbara. I see Rachel Haynes is here. Satin Doll, there she goes. Hello, sweetie. Donna McClinton, hello, my love. There we are. There we are. Let me see who else is in here. I'm kind of slow tonight. Yep, there's Camille, LaWanda. I think I got everybody. Yes. We got everybody in the house. There's 12 folks in here. I hope y'all hit the like button. You know, I'm going to start leaning on folk about that like button. Even the people in the bushes. The peoples in the bushes. Come out of the bushes and hit the like button. You ain't got to come chat if you don't want to. You can sit back, watch on TV, on your iPad, on your iPhone, whatever you feel like doing. But just hit the like button for me. Hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing. I haven't played that one in a while. So I'm going to have to play it. Because people seem to forget. Camille said, Auntie Nikki, did you see my emails? No, sweetheart. I've been humping today. Not literally, but I've been on my grind today. I had some business I had to run to the bank and take care of. And you know I got to go take care of my money real quick. But I will definitely look into it when I get off of here. I'm sorry I missed your emails. I'll be the first to admit I am bad with checking emails, and I shouldn't be like that. But, I'm running a business and trying to do 2 channels on YouTube. It's a lot. It's a lot. If it wasn't for my husband having my back, I would be out of my mind. I wouldn't be doing what I do. So please forgive me if I didn't check up on my emails in time. I will definitely be doing so. And for those of you who have my phone number, you can always shoot me a text. I get those quickly. I get those real quickly. So Camille, you have my email, so I will send you my phone number if you need to send me something emergency-wise. And you can text it to me or call me, shoot. Half the time I pick up if my phone is nearby. So, hello, C. Gonzalez. C. Gonzalez is in the house. C. Somebody was talking smack last night on another live, and she broke out in Spanish. I said, check them in that Spanish. That's right. Absolutely. So I'll be honest with you. Today I was going to talk more about David and Celeste because that's a pretty important topic. Very important topic. And I think we had a pretty good live last night about that topic. And there has been a little bit of information that came out that I could actually share with you. It's not going to take long. Is that Aretha Franklin? Who's Aretha Franklin? Orlando Mercado. Is who Aretha Franklin? I'm curious now, because I know she dead and gone. Where is she? Where is Aretha? I'm hoping she's in heaven. Absolutely. But I do have some, just a little brief information about an update on the David Celeste Hernandez case. And it's not much. It doesn't take much time to say. I got my notes sitting here. And for those who don't know about that case, it's involving the rapper David, D4BD. That style. What style, sweetheart? You talking about my avatar? I'm not sure. Hi, Kumari. How are you, love? Orlando gonna have to explain to me what he means by that style. But anyway, getting back to what I was gonna say about David and Celeste. Well, her case. Apparently, the grand jury called David's tour manager. Okay. The grand jury called David's tour manager because his tour manager was actually living in the house with David and Celeste. Okay. This record executive called before the grand jury and they asked him why he didn't call the police. Now, call the police about what? I'm curious. Call the police about what? But apparently this is huge because TMZ's exclusive says that the president of David's tour company was grilled Monday by the deputy district attorney in front of the grand jury on why he didn't call the police. And I'm like, police for what? They said that the grand jury is hearing evidence of the death of Celeste Hernandez. And the TMZ story broke. LAPD's robbery homicide division, I guess, was considering David as a suspect in what they say appears to be a homicide. Hello, let me see if I can. Bad as shit. Is that what that means? BS sad HD. I don't know how to pronounce that, but hello. Oh, they said the manager was paying the mom in the beginning? Okay, well, it says here that he was grilled in front of the grand jury. And it says that, the homicide division was considering David as a suspect in what they say appears to be a homicide. So Robert Morgenroth, is the general manager of Mogul Vision, which is the company, David's record label, is also the president of Zara Brothers Travel, which is David's tour company. They learned that Morgenhoff testified all day Monday before the LA grand jury and learned at one point that with a half dozen of people in the hallway, and they stepped out, he was talking loud enough for people to hear him. So folks was eavesdropping on him. He was referring to Beth Silverman, the deputy DA presenting the case before the grand jury, complaining that she was being really pushy as to why he didn't call the popo. Okay. He went on to recount how he responded. I said I felt like I didn't have the responsibility to do that and just wanted to continue with the tour. My question is, call the police about what? Her being there? Her not being there anymore? I mean, That's the question that jumps out in my mind. So now they say we don't know the time frame of the tour to which he was referring, but David was on tour when Celeste's body was discovered in the Tesla, which had been parked near his LA house he was renting. Okay? This underscores that David is squarely in the crosshairs of the LAPD and the LA County District Attorney. Okay? David and Rob lived together in that house, and neighbors reported seeing Celeste living there, or at least someone that looked very, very much like her. Then he would be one of the first ones to notice that she was underage, right? Or where is that girl? I mean, where is she that was living here? So maybe that's what they meant when suddenly she was there and then suddenly she wasn't. I'm trying to understand why they asked him, why didn't you call the police? He would have also had to coordinate her showing up at the venues for David when he would perform. So LAPD, and this is where it gets kind of funky. This is where the cover-up, the look of the cover-up looks. LAPD immediately jumped the gun with their first assumptions. Those of you that paid attention, when they found that girl in that trunk, the first thing out their mouth was, oh, she probably passed away from an OD. How do you come to that conclusion if you have no autopsy? How are you putting all your theories that David, why are your theories making it appear as though David is not criminally involved? Because, telling us to, jump to the conclusion, there's no autopsy. You're saying that the medical examiner's autopsy, you don't have an autopsy, but you don't either. How can you jump to that conclusion? And the medical examiner and the LAPD are at odds, publicly at odds. Now, many reports do give different things, different innuendos, different speculations and whatnot, but the bottom line is that little girl is gone. That little girl is gone. Absolutely, Duda Bird. They need to hurry up and get this solved. If she died of an OD, where did they get that information from? And if it came from David's camp, why didn't you call the cops? Maybe that's what they meant. Why didn't you call the cops? So at this point, that's all I have for that. But that's major. That's major information about this case. But again, it just smells bad. It smells like a cover-up. I don't know if they're covering up for David. I don't know if they're covering up for their shoddy police work. Either way it goes, it looks bad. And it's about time they get their shit together and make this family, make this girl whole again, even though she's gone. Lay her to rest properly. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what? I can turn the camera on now. Hello. I'm just talking with no camera on. Doodlebird says, I just don't understand why they put her in the trunk. I need to know, was it a rental car or it was his car, Doodlebird. It was David's Tesla. He owned that vehicle. It wasn't a rental. That's why it looks so messed up. It was his car. And see, from what I understand, this guy that they just talked to in the grand jury, he might be that other person of interest in this case. They claim that David, I don't know, Doodlebird. They claim that there's another person involved. There was a trip taken up to Santa Monica, I believe. And, they think that maybe that might have been when any dismemberment that took place would have taken place up there. Who knows? But they're dragging their butts, in my opinion. I know it's a very intricate thing. You know, the medical examiner said that she was partially frozen in the trunk, even though in that hot California weather, you would think that, you know, she wouldn't be frozen in any shape, form, or fashion. And the LAPD debunked that, what the medical examiner said, saying that she was partially frozen. They came out and says that's not true, that's not true. But the medical examiner doubled down and said, wait a minute. Yes, Doodle Bird. Okay, so the car was towed to a tow yard, and people started smelling a foul odor coming out of the front of that vehicle, because you know those Teslas, they don't have a trunk, they have a frunk. Exactly, Doodle Bird. To keep her on ice for a while, just so they could go on tour. Because remember, this guy was hell-bent on David going on tour overseas. Let's see, Auntie, but his video is similar to what happened to her. So either he was involved allegedly, or someone plotted against him, alleged. And that could be the case too, sweetie. All I know is that there's a lot of unanswered questions, and they're holding a lot of information to themselves that, I'm sorry. Again, I'm going to have to say what I said last night. If this was somebody else, if this was just a regular person like you and I, somebody would be sitting in jail right now. I believe that. But that's all I have on David and Celeste. I hope that they can get to the bottom of this as soon as possible, because she was somebody's baby. Yes, he did do a show with a casket. But, you know, unfortunately, our legal system does not lean on things like that. That's circumstantial. It's not concrete evidence. Doing a song that depicts something that has later happened doesn't necessarily mean that you did it. You know what I mean? I mean, they could look at some of Diddy's lyrics and some of his stuff that he did that could connect him. If they paid attention to what Diddy said in one of his songs, I can't remember what it was, but he said something about dropping $1 million on your head. Those were in his lyrics. And wasn't it said that he allegedly paid Keefy D $1 million to delete Tupac? Sometimes they tell on themselves. Doodlebird says, is this on 2 screens? Hi, everyone in the other realm. Yep, it's on 2 screens. I'm still trying to get used to this. I'm not seeing everybody in the chat. So I'm not sure which side of the street I'm seeing, but I'm seeing people. But anyway, yeah, there's, you know, this industry is so very demonic. And people, I won't say all of them, but, you know, especially in the hip-hop community, there can be a lot of violence, physical violence, and things of that nature that are in the lyrics of their music. And, you know, sometimes you wonder, are they talking from experience? Are they rapping from experience? Because in retrospect, like I said, if you look back at one of Diddy's songs, actually a couple of them, I'm trying to remember the other one. He said something about "come and get me." He said the feds. Oh my God, I wish I could remember those lyrics. Something about the feds come get me. You know, I can't remember the name of the song off the top of my head because it's been so long. But sometimes they tell on themselves. Their ego makes them tell on themselves. Absolutely, Doodle Bird. I like that too. Hi, Anthony. How are you? I'm glad you made it tonight on time. So good to see you. Brother Anthony's in the house. So anyway, like I said, I wanted to talk more about that tonight, but then I remembered that I also had promised someone that I was going to report on the Green River Killer. I'm not supposed to say Killer, but that's his name. Okay. So I guess I'll have to replace that word with something else. The Green River Deleter. I can't stand this mess with YouTube. Come on. Let us say regular words. You let us get on here and say all this profanity, but we can't say words that are in the dictionary. That's all over the media. This doesn't make sense to me. Let me get my tea together. My throat gets so raspy up here. Oh, Anthony says I'm outside. I'm outstanding. TikTok live tonight. I'm chilling at my auntie's house. Okay, Anthony, chilling at auntie's house. Okay. So anyway, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you in the room tonight can recall Gary Ridgeway. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember Gary Ridgeway or the Green River, you-know-whatter. Just curious how many remember him. Because it's been some time. It's been quite some time since he went away. Hello, Sloan. It's been quite some time since he went away. Okay. Got a couple of 1s. 3. Okay. So the majority of us are in that age bracket. We can remember that far back. These young folks, they don't remember stuff like that. They wasn't really paying attention, But y'all remember, this was one of the biggest, oh God. And right here in my backyard, that's the part that gets to me. He is one of the most notorious serial blankers. Hello, Sloan. I see you. He's one of the most diabolical serial deleters in U.S. history. And the reason they called him the Green River Killer is that he dumped a lot of those girls off in the proximity of the Green River, which is about a 2-minute drive from me. I see that river every day and I think of those girls. Girls way back to the 70s. No, I would have to say the 80s. Some of them girls, a couple of those girls, I remember from back in high school. We didn't go to the same high school. But you know how you come up in a town, you an original OG, Mr. Phillips. Well, I was born and raised here. So a lot of those girls were my age at the time. And for whatever reason, their lives didn't quite work out the way you would want them to. So they ended up turning tricks on the street. There's a street not far from here. It's a big major thoroughfare, busy area. It goes a long stretch. It's the old 99, Highway 99, that used to take you from Washington State all the way down to California. And then when they built I-5, 99 was, just 99. And one part of 99 was what they would call Host Roll. That's where all the ladies of the evening were making their money. All the seedy people were up in that area. And again, it is literally a 2-minute drive, if not less. from my house. So being born and raised here, it just brings back a lot of memories as to how it was back in that time as a teenager. You know, when the news came on and these girls started disappearing, we got scared. Absolutely, Doodle Bird. So you know what I'm talking about. Pack Highway. They call it Pack Highway or Pacific Highway South. So it's a big, long thoroughfare that used to take you from Washington to California. But back in the day, again, there was I-5, but this was a very seedy place. And I mean, it went for miles. It goes for miles. As a matter of fact, SeaTac Airport is right there on that same highway. And again, it goes for miles. But apparently this dude is now on his deathbed. I remember Bishop Don Juan. Yes, Mr. Phillips. I remember Bishop Don Juan. A mess. Yes, SeaTac is right there. Worked at SeaTac, you know. So again, I'm born and raised here. But this joker, that's your uncle, man? Mr. Phillips. Bishop Don Juan is your uncle? Oh, I am too through. That's where you get your swag from. I see it. I see it right there in the chat. Now I understand. Oh my goodness. No, he hasn't. You're talking about Gary Ridgeway, Doodle Bird? He hasn't passed yet. Unless he did in the last day. Almost done living off the taxpayer. Exactly. Well, the thing about him is that this joker he was convicted of 41 unalivements. He was convicted of 41 women no longer living. However, he did come forward and actually admit to even more than that. Some of these young girls they have never been found. Never. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up. I found a site that actually has pictures of these young ladies. Green River Homicides Investigation. This is off of the King County official government website. And of course, they're still asking people to help them identify the remaining Green River victims. Okay. It says, although Ridgeway pled guilty, the investigation continues to identify unnamed victims, find other missing women, and identify other potential victims. If you have any information that you believe will help in the investigation, contact us. And here's the contact information, okay? But it says on July 15th, 1982, the body of Wendy Lee Caulfield was found in the Green River. Within a month, 4 other bodies were found on the riverbank. Yes, he is. Deborah Lynn Bonner, Marcia Faye Chapman, Opal Charmaine Mills, and Cynthia Jean Hines. Thus began one of the longest and largest serial investigations in the United States history. Not just Washington State, but the United States history. Eventually, the deaths of at least 48 women would be linked to the Green River. Dude, Our investigation continued for decades. Over time, the combination of advancing technology, science, and determined investigative work advanced the case until an arrest was made in 2001. This guy was doing this for about 20 plus years. Jesus. November 2001, Gary Leon Ridgeway was arrested and subsequently charged with the murders of Cynthia Jean Hines, Marcia Faye Chapman, Opal Charmaine Mills, and Carol Ann Christensen. April 2003, Ridgeway was charged with 3 additional murders: Wendy Lee Caulfield, Deborah Lynn Bonner, and Deborah Estes. June of 2003, in exchange, this is the part that got to me. Exactly. That's right. That's right, Sloan. You're absolutely right. Word on the street is they interrogated him again recently to try to wrap things up, so to speak, but didn't get anything else out of him. Hi, Retretta. So yes, you're absolutely right, Sloan. So, but this is the part that got to me. June 2003. In exchange for the prosecutor not seeking the death penalty, Ridgeway agreed to plead guilty to all you-know-whats that he committed in King County. He agreed to provide complete, truthful, and candid information concerning the crimes that he had committed in King County and answer all questions during interviews conducted by the detectives or the prosecuting attorney. Well, he didn't do that. Yeah, you're right, Millionaire's Code. November 5th, 2003, Larry Leon Ridgeway pled guilty to 48 counts of aggravated murder in the first degree. But now he has copped to almost 80 unalivements. These are the girls that are still missing. These 3 women are listed on the official Green River homicides list. They remain missing today, and their cases remain uncharged. So he hasn't been charged with them, but they know that apparently he must have copped to them because they've never been retrieved. This one here was 16 years old. Cassie Ann Lee. Cassie Ann Lee was a 16-year-old girl. She was last seen on August 28, 1982 in the area of South 200th Street and 30th Avenue South. This area is just east of Pack Highway South. I'm just east of Pack Highway South, too. Kelly Ann McGinnis was 18 years of age and was last seen on June 28, 1983 at South 216th Street and Pacific Highway South. So they were walking the streets. These are where they were last seen. They was walking that street, Pack Highway. Patricia Ann Osborne was 19 years of age and last seen on October 28, 1983 when she left an area at North 115th Street and Aurora Avenue North in the city of Seattle to walk to a nearby restaurant. And that is literally 20-something miles away from here. So he picked her up clear on the other side of town. Now these are women that says, please take a look at the photographs below. We're looking for the current whereabouts of these women or their true names or names of associates and relatives and when these women were last seen. This one here, Linda Jackson or Walinda L. Wells. This photo was taken in 1983. This female has been identified as Linda L. Jackson and Walinda L. Wells. She has not been seen in King County since early 1983. Another one here, her name was just Michelle. Yeah, very close. Very close. Her name was just Michelle. They don't even have a last name for her. This photo was taken in 1980. This one right here, she looks so familiar to me, but I didn't know her. But you know how you growing up and everybody going to different high schools and stuff, and you all see each other in passing. And I remember this girl's face. I didn't know. I knew what she looked like. She was one of the people you just see in passing. This photo was taken in 1980. This female was last seen in Seattle during December of 1980. She may have gone by the first name of Michelle. She has ties to the New York area. And of course, this one here, Angie. No last name. We're trying to identify a possible missing female known only as Angie. Angie was an associate of Green River victim Tammy Lyles. She was last seen in downtown Seattle in the summer of 1983. Angie was last known to be from the Marysville area, which is way far from here, past where Jess lives. Described as white female, 17 to 18 years of age at the time of contact, 5'4" in height, 110 pounds, with curly shoulder-length, light brown hair and greenish blue eyes. She's been described as very pretty and a Barbie doll, last seen wearing blue jeans. But here's what I need you to see. These are the known victims. Wendy Lee Caulfield, Marie Malvar, April Buttram, Patricia Yellowrobe, Deborah Lorraine Estes, Colleen Renee Brockman, Yvonne Shelley Antosh, Carol Ann Christensen, Linda Rule, Kimmy Kai Pistor, Cheryl Lee Wims, Cindy Ann Smith, Shonda Lee Summers, she looked familiar too, Patricia Ann Barzak, Shirley Marie Sherrill, Denise Darcell Bush, Andrea M. Childers, Mary Bridget Meehan, Kelly Ware, Constance Naon, Giselle Lavorne, Sandra K. Gabbard, Pammy Avant, she definitely looks familiar, Roberta Hayes, Marta Reeves, Martina T. Otherly, Mary Sue Bello. I'm saying all the names in honor of them because they are well forgotten. Yes, he did do the bird. Hey, Jess. Good to see you, love. Debbie Mae Abernathy, Kimberly Nelson, Lisa L. Yates, Delise Louise Plager, Maureen Sue Feeney, Tina Marie Thompson, Carrie Ann Royce, Dolores Laverne Williams, Alma Ann Smith, Opal Charmaine Mills, Terry Renee Milligan. Now she's related to a family close to my family. I don't know this young lady, but I know her family. Cynthia Jean Hines, Gail Matthews, Tracy Winston, Marcia Chapman. This is the oldest. This young lady right here, Marcia Chapman. She was 31 years old. She had little kids. And she was living out there on Pack Highway, not far from the airport. Single mother, trying to make it. Hi, 8 with the 24, love. Hi, Lisa Howard. Hi, Diane R. Allen. But this one right here, Marcia Chapman, she was the oldest of his victims that we know of. And like I said, she was a single mother, just making ends meet. And he took her life. Deborah Lynn Bonner, Wendy Stevens, Lori Ann Ratsputnik, and last but not least, Tammy Lyles. That's a lot of girls. These are a lot of victims. And these are the ones that are accounted for. This is not just a list of, this is who could have, these are just the ones that they convicted him on. But he says that he's done even more than that. So I say all this to say this. I'm going to get rid of this picture because it's depressing. Very depressing. He's apparently on his deathbed, so to speak. I'm going to pull up this interview with the former sheriff that worked this case. His name is Sheriff Dave Reichert. He ended up being a politician around here. So I haven't even listened to this interview, but I am going to play this interview so you can get an idea of how it was for him. And another lady by the name of Faye Brooks, who goes to my church, she was one of the detectives, first black detective in this area. Oh, I can't remember the award she got. I'll pull that up later. But she worked this case as well. Bad sister. She's a bad sister. Hold on just a second. Okie dokie. Let me pull this up so just a little bit. Okay.
Situation with Gary Ridgeway right now.
Yeah, what I'm hearing right now is that he is close to death, but I don't have any facts to back that up. I did see a photo of him about a year ago, and he was in a wheelchair. Didn't look very healthy at all, so it's not surprising that people are saying that he's in his last days.
He's in his last days. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I can't feel too bad about that. Let me reduce this just a little bit.
But I don't have any facts to back that up.
I mean, he's accused of killing so many people. He's been convicted of killing, I believe, 49.
Hold on, can you guys hear the interviewer? Because it sounds kind of low. Let me turn this up all the way because the interviewer sounds very low. And I'm going to turn this music off. Let me see if I can go back a little bit.
When he goes, how many secrets do you think he's actually taken to the grave with him?
Yeah, I think that Ridgeway's taken a lot of secrets to the grave with him. When he was arrested in 2001 and finally decided that he was going to cooperate and as much as he did with the task force, he said he killed 65. He was going to confess to 65. He pled guilty to 49, and we closed 51 cases. 2 of them we weren't able to charge, but we know that he is responsible for those cases. So when we interviewed him for 6 months, getting information from him was like pulling teeth. So we were pulling teeth for information for each and every case that we finally charged him with. And we knew that he was withholding a lot of information. We knew that he's a pathological liar.
That he was. He was a pathological liar. Like a lot of other folks we know that we won't even, that's going to remain nameless. Hey, Auntie, I am watching Fox 13. Okay, cool. Okay, can you guys hear the interviewer okay, though? Because it is kind of low, and I've got it turned up all the way. As a matter of fact, he went to Tyee High School, and lived right across the street from that high school. Okay, good. You can hear. Let me get back on here.
Also a psychopath, and so I think that at times he didn't know truth from lie. So I'm sure that he's kept a lot of secrets, and he's going to die with some secrets.
This him dying is really about the families. All those families. How do you think they'll deal with his death? Will it be a movement to move on for closure, or do they still have the same unanswered questions?
I think the cases that he pled guilty to, 49 cases, those families can never have closure. The families of missing girls and women today will never have closure until their loved one is found alive. Hopefully, some will be. There are some, of course, that are still unsolved homicides. The most that families can do, from all the conversations I've had with families, is to pray for answers to the questions that they have. Why did my daughter die? Who killed my daughter? And where's her body? And when can I put her to rest in a proper way? And those are the questions that we can help families answer. Um, Ridgeway's confession helped us give those answers to 51 families, but there are a number of families still left today that don't have those answers.
Can you imagine the man that could possibly have unalived your child and they give him a break? This is the part that just burns me up. They give him a break for information and he still doesn't give all of the information. I think that should be a deal breaker. But unfortunately, in this state, apparently there is no more death penalty. And he's an exception. I guess you could look at it more than one way. Make him live and suffer. But if you make a deal to disclose all of your information, because they had this joke, and they would take him out of the jail and literally take him into different sites to where he was dumping bodies. I mean, this is crazy business. They'd take him out just like they did that father that was looking for his baby. And they know where that baby is. Yes, 49 women, but he copped to more than that. He admitted to more than that. The number got up to 80 at one point. We don't know if he was lying or what, but he was convicted of 49. And there are missing women out there today that are unaccounted for that fit the same profile as those other women. This man took out so many women, he couldn't hardly keep up with where they were buried or dumped. A couple of spots was literally two blocks away from my church. I mean, it blows me away to think back that, wow, this dude was literally in my neighborhood dumping bodies. And I thank God I didn't live here in this area at the time. It was shortly after he was captured that I moved out here. But this guy, I don't think they should make life comfortable for him in his last days. That's just
But
me.
I don't want them to give up, because I have tremendous faith in the King County Sheriff's Office and local law enforcement here in the state of Washington, some of the best law enforcement officers in the country. And I know that. I've worked with law enforcement all across the country. They are dedicated to finding the people responsible for the unsolved murders that still are under investigation today. They're not going to give up. Guarantee it. They're not going to give up.
Ridgeway was kind of one of those first cold cases that was solved through DNA. How much has this case affected law enforcement worldwide on solving cases, on making people have some of that closure, having some of those answers answered? the
Yeah.
questions answered.
I think law enforcement over the years, they've learned a lot from cases like Ted Bundy, cases like Ridgeway case. Um, there's
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was muted, you guys. Doodlebird said, are you signing off? I got your intro on my screen. And I'm not signing off. I just stopped the video because I was going to ask you what you mean. Auntie Mickey, you should watch these videos about SKs being under ultra. I'm not sure I understand what that means, love. Yeah, the video is not. I stopped the video, Millionaire's Code. Let me start it back up. You guys, listen.
new techniques. There's new techniques in processing outdoor crime scenes. I think a lot of that is in use today, but really, what's had the impact on investigations today is the fast-paced progress of DNA, familial DNA research, and those sorts of things. That's really been the breakthrough in solving some of these cases, because a case investigation starts with the identification of unidentified human remains. And so DNA now can be used to identify victims with finding bones. And so once you've identified the victim, the investigation now begins, because then you can go to family and friends and build out a case, track down where they were last seen, and then continue the investigation from there. So DNA and other forensic techniques have really aided investigators in today's investigations.
What would your message be to the families of those Green River victims that have not been found yet?
Well, there's three that have not been located yet, and again, I know that it seems impossible, but people said it was impossible that that we were going to solve this case. It took us 19 years, but we did it.
Okay. Hi, Lala. How are you, sweetie? Okay, 8 with the 24. Yes, please email me. That way we can talk about it openly through email. Because you know how YouTube is. They get funny about certain words. So let me proceed with this. Hold on.
And there were a lot of hurdles to overcome, and I think my message is just to call the investigators, let them know you're still there, let them know that you care. I know that most families will do that, but just for me personally, know and understand and believe that cops today, that the law enforcement officers of today, detectives working on these unsolved cases, are not going to give up. They will find answers.
Do you think that over the last, I guess, do you think justice was served giving him the life sentence and him pleading, or would have you rather seen something else happen?
Yeah, that the question about making a deal with Ridgeway back when he was arrested, life in prison versus the death penalty. Today we don't even have the death penalty, so he wouldn't. If we caught someone like Ridgeway today, it wouldn't even be a question. It was a tool for us, and that's one of the reasons I was disappointed to see the death penalty go away, because with people like Ridgeway, they're cowards. The first thing they want to do is save their life.
And that's what everybody that does something similar to this is going to do from now on. Because there's no more death penalty, there's no way around really getting to the meat of it. Millionaire's Cove says, Auntie, and to think about it, he was married and out there doing evil and coming home to his family like nothing like. Now that's crazy and scary. At the same time, mind-boggling. Exactly. His wife didn't have a clue. Let me say that again. His wife had no clue what he was doing out there for years. At least that's what she said. I don't know. I don't know if my husband was coming with mud all over stuff like that. I'd have some questions. Where you been? And why are you so late? You know, at one point in time, this joker took his child with him to dump one of those bodies. Hey, Black, how are you, sweetie? So, yeah, I really wish they hadn't done away with the death penalty. I'm not a big death penalty proponent. However, in a case like this, he had a bargaining chip, and he was able to save his life with that bargaining chip. You was catching turtles, Black. Yeah, I agree, Doodle Bird. I'd be asking questions too. I would be asking questions too. How do you not know your husband's out there doing something crazy for as long as they were married?
How do they save their life? Confess. And that's what he did. He is a coward. He saved his life. He confessed to 49. We closed 51 cases. So yes, I think it was the right thing to do. Otherwise, we'd have only had 7 families that would really have answers to the questions they were asking instead of 51.
Did the families ever get an answer to the question of why he did this?
The only answer that Ridgeway ever gave us when we asked him why he did it was because I could.
Because
that
he
was
could.
it. And
Wow.
this is a typical psychopath. I mean, he's typical, no remorse, not sorry for anything, and really can't think of any other reason other than he could.
No remorse. Does this person deserve to live out the rest of their life in the manner in which what does he care? He gets 3 square meals a day. They may not be all that tasty. Okay. But he gets 3 squares and a cot. He can watch TV whenever. I just don't feel like that's a good deal. I'm sorry. And he's in Gen Pop. So I just don't get it. How this guy, in exchange for locations of where he dumped some of the bodies, he didn't give them all the locations. He couldn't even keep up with them all. Hi, Dark Crypto. Yeah, he was very, very smart. But he didn't give a damn. That's the saddest part about it. He still to this day doesn't give a damn.
How chilling was it when you were sitting down there off of Airport Way in the makeshift jail that you guys built for him? How chilling was it to sit there and talk to him?
I had 3 days that I was able to visit with him and interview him, and what I remember, and I think what other detectives will tell you that were the primary interviewers, when you sat down with him and looked at him and looked him in the eye, you were looking at pure evil. I interviewed Ted Bundy in 1986 for 3 days with Detective Bob Keppel, and I had this exactly the same feeling. It's just
Ted Bundy, another one. Another one from this area. I know y'all remember Ted Bundy. Hi, Lady Letitia. Hello, sweetheart. How many of y'all remember Ted Bundy? Now that goes even further back. Ted Bundy was another prolific serial deleter. And the difference between him and Gary Ridgway is that Gary Ridgway was not very nice looking. But Ted Bundy, according to everyone that knew him, felt that he was this very handsome, educated man. Henry Lee Lucas. Yep. He was like this guy named Henry Lee Lucas. I've never heard of Henry Lee Lucas, but if he's anything like these two dudes, wow. But yeah, Ted Bundy was another one that was, it was crazy. And he escaped at one point. He escaped from their capture.
Just a dark, deep hole filled with evil. Hard to explain, but I think people understand it when I describe it that way. How else could you describe somebody who just randomly grabs people off the street, especially our most vulnerable young girls and young women, and takes their life?
It's weird. We won't say where we are, but I mean we're very close to where he went and dumped some of those bodies up in these hills. And I remember seeing the video of him walking you guys through down the ravines out in this area
Oh,
to
yeah.
try to find those bodies.
Yeah,
When you're back in this area, do you remember those times?
all the time. Yeah, I remember, you know, I can close my eyes and I can see the sites where the victims were found, the positions of the body, the state of decomposition that some were in, some
Oh God.
were scattered bones. But I can remember all of those. If I close my eyes and think hard enough, I can still see those sites today. He took us on one trip. We asked him about a victim who was killed in Seattle, and showed him the picture and said, "Hey, can you take us to where you put her body?" And he directed us right to Seward Park. This is where Mary West was found.
Seward Park. Seward Park is a place where we used to hang out in the summertime. This is how bold this dude was. Now, Seward Park is a very, I would have to say, upper class area. Okay. However, you know, those of us from the hood, when we, you know, in the summertime, we'd jump in the car and we go rolling down to Seward Park, and everybody would just be kicking it out there at the bottom of Seward Park. But the surrounding area, because it does sit on Lake Washington, and Lake Washington separates Seattle and Bellevue, which is also a very upscale place. But this is just how bold this dude was. Oh my goodness, Lala. She went to Garth. Cindy Wims. You know what? I think she's one of the girls that I was saying. I recognize her because I grew up 5 blocks from Garfield. I should have gone to Garfield High School, but I went to Queen Anne instead. So she went to Garfield High School. I bet that's that girl I was saying that looked familiar. Because, you know, back in the day, everybody knew, at least could recognize people, whether they went to school together or not. And she was one of those, Cheryl Wims, I'll be damned. And you went to Garfield too? Lala, you went to Garfield too? Holy cow. I went to Queen Anne High School. Should have went to Garfield. I'll be doggone. We got to talk, Lala. We got to talk. We might know some of the same people. I did too. I lived on 27th and Spring, just 1 block west of Martin Luther King and 1 block south of wait a minute, Union. I was on the corner of Spring, 27th Avenue and Spring. I'll be doggone. You lived in the CD too, so you know what I'm talking about. Shoot.
And back when the body was found, I was a detective and I was in charge of the
It
crime
is
scene. And
Doodoo
there were
Bird.
about 125 people there that we were directing in different ways into the crime scene, into the scene where the body was found. Which path did he take? And I chose 3 different ways, but I selected one in particular and said, I think this is the pathway he took in. And then years later, when Ridgeway took us back to that site, he stopped at that very spot and pointed, that's the path I took in. And back during back during those days, it just gave me goosebumps. I had to get out of the car and walk in and look at the site where Mary West was found.
Okay, Lala, what year did you graduate from Garfield? Just one quick question, because I got to ask you if you know somebody real quick. Y'all just bear with me. What was the year that you graduated from Garfield? Because I was supposed to graduate in 80. No, I said supposed to. I wouldn't be surprised. Lala, do you remember Barry and Larry, the twins? Real quick question. If you tell me yes, I'm going to fall out of my chair. Who remembers John Wayne Gacy? He unalived 33 young boys and men in Chicago, Illinois. Oh, God, I remember that one. The guy that dressed up as a clown. That dude. I certainly do. Wow. This is a small world. It really is. And Seattle is not that big of a town. It is now, but back then it really wasn't in comparison to some of these other cities. I'm just waiting for Lala's answer. If you tell me you know Barry and Larry, the twins, I'm going to fall off of my chair right now. Let me start up this video. I got everybody waiting for an answer.
Chilling.
What do you hope for the families when Gary finally does die? What do you hope the families are able to do?
I don't think Ridgeway's death is something that is not going to take away any pain. It's not going to bring their daughters back. They know that better than any of us. I suppose that from my meetings with the families, I remember most of the families were Christian. And I would imagine that those families that are of that faith understand and realize that Ridgeway had a judgment day in King County Court and got 49 consecutive life sentences. But Ridgeway is going to have a judgment day, and he better pray, because that's going to be his final judgment.
Absolutely.
Obviously, for the families and the women that he killed, it was obviously a horrible thing. But these deaths affected a lot more people, including your crews, your people that worked out there.
Yeah.
How hard was it for your detectives and your people in the King County Sheriff's Office to move through this whole process?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. The detectives I still talk to today are still carrying the memories. I just explained to you how I can see the sites where the bodies were found. I know what bones were found in these sites, and other detectives are having the same feelings. It's something that you live with. You can't collect scores and scores and scores of dead bodies.
You know, the sad part about all this is that these places that he dumped those bodies, a lot of those places have not changed, not one bit. They're in the same in the same condition they were back at that time. I pass by that site. There's a bridge that I cross over just to go toward the bank here in Kent, in downtown Kent. And that little bridge, when you look over that bridge, is the Green River, and one of the areas that they had literally found a few of those bodies at. And it hasn't changed, not one bit. The water, still the current flows the same way it did back then. It's really, it's sad. It's very sad to see. So again, this is it to know that this man is still alive and kicking, and to think that they might try to make his life comfortable in the last days, it infuriates me. It really does.
and erase those memories, especially of little girls. So here's one human being, Ridgeway,
No
if you want to call him a human
construction.
being, one person,
Mm-mm.
Ridgeway, who had such a tremendous impact, not only on each and every family that lost their loved one, but on the entire community and on this entire state, on the detectives, but also on this entire state. There was a dark cloud over the state. No one believed we would catch this guy. And then in 2001, we did. And people still come up to me today and say, thank you. I remember I met Ridgeway here. I remember I worked with Ridgeway at Kenworth Trucking. I was working at a 7-Eleven, up on Pacific Highway. Ridgeway used to come in. There's so many, and people have impacts that from Ridgeway that just have this ripple effect.
Did you hear what he just said? He actually worked with this dude at Kenworth Trucking years before he became affiliated with King County Sheriff's Department. And to think that later on he ends up arresting a co-worker, it blows me away. It really does. It blows me away that he actually used to work with this dude. And from what I understand, Ridgeway was a very, very quiet person, very standoffish, but nevertheless, they shared the same employer and was employed by the same company at one time. That blows me away.
People remember it almost more than the day Mount St. Helens blew up, to tell you the truth.
I remember that too.
At the time, so I mean, I was here when all that was happening. I was here when Bundy was down at Lake Sammamish. Is there anything that you can look on the positive side of what the Green River killer brought to anything? Is there I mean, are people more careful? Did they understand did it help law enforcement look more at how do we help victims? How do we help people get out of those situations?
Here, there are some positives. I think, some.
I thought he just said he used to work with him, because I had heard that before, that he had worked at Kenworth for a moment. Maybe I misunderstood him. Nevertheless, the dude was a weirdo. Point blank, period. And he's still a weirdo. He has no remorse. He's sitting in prison right now on his deathbed, and they're still making him comfortable. And that infuriates me.
Positives in the way that we investigate missing persons now. We're quicker to take a missing persons report here in Washington State than we were back in the early 80s and late 70s. We shouldn't be. I know that we changed that law, and I don't know where it is now. We shouldn't be waiting 24 hours to take a missing persons report. That was one of the mistakes that put us 24 hours behind investigating, a case. I'll tell you, one of the things that I think is bothersome is that human trafficking was so prevalent back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And we haven't learned anything today.
We
still drive up and down Aurora Avenue, Pacific Highway South, downtown, Tacoma, Seattle, and we drive by these young girls on the street.
Yep.
And they're invisible to us. We haven't done enough to help young girls, and for that matter today, young boys.
He's not lying there. He's not lying there. There's several thoroughfares here in this state, specifically in the Seattle area, where you know what, the girls of the night and the boys of the night even are walking up and down these same streets, and they're just doing their thing. Nobody pays them no mind. And that's exactly how it was back then. He's not lying. They haven't learned a thing. These girls are out here turning tricks left and right. They're walking up to vehicles in the middle of the street. Me and my husband can drive down Aurora Avenue on any given day, and one of those girls will walk off of the sidewalk. We can be 2 lanes out, and they will walk up to the car and turn around and turn their butt up to us. Like, come get it. This is what we're dealing with now. I don't know about the rest of this country, but I know up here, this is not the place to be pulling that stuff, considering the nutcase that was walking these streets and driving these streets back then. Parents need to get a grip. Get a grip on their girls.
Who have who are on the edge of they're vulnerable and they need help, and we need to help them rather than look at them as criminals. And that's what we did in '82. They were first arrested for prostitution, and then we said, okay, you need some help. Now they've got an arrest record. We need to help these young people before they hit the street.
Yes, that's true. They need to do more than help the young people. They need to help these mothers as well. Help these mothers to learn how to get a handle on their girls. Help these mothers, help these families. Exactly, Millionaire's Cove. And you were asking about no buildings and all that stuff. They built all the nice buildings in the commercial areas. And when they gentrified the CD, and I think Lala can relate to this, when they gentrified the CD, they moved us all out. 99 and Aurora has nothing changed. Nothing. No buildings, no nothing. Everything looks exactly the same as it did when we were kids. Nothing has changed. No tall buildings. There might be some apartments strewn here and there, but for the most part, it's still host row. This is where they go out to sell what they got to sell. 99 and Aurora especially. Pack Highway, which is 99. Nothing has changed. And the other thing is that what has changed is parents are not paying close attention to their daughters like they did back then. It seems like parents had a grip more on their kids, especially their daughters, back then. But nowadays, these young girls is walking up and down the street like it ain't nothing. Some girls I've seen that are in middle school, they'll skip school and they get together and they just out there gallivanting like it ain't nothing. And then they wind up gone. Same thing with Celeste. This is very indicative of what happened with Celeste Hernandez. Celeste Hernandez was allowed to fraternize with an adult. Fast forward, she's gone. Doodlebird said, my area is growing so much. I've been here in my area since 4565. Okay. I bought some land from my mom and had a house built. That's beautiful, Doodlebird. Are you in a very rural area, or is it, Auntie, are you saying it now? The parents are teaching their daughters? In some cases, yeah. I hate to say it. We've got some, and I'm only saying it because I know some specifically. I know some families specifically that are generational welfare recipients. They teach their daughters by either showing them the game or teaching them the game. Here's how you get by. Career goes from great grandma to mama to the daughter. 4 generations. My father married into a family like this. I saw it with my own eyes. And it's still happening today. It's still happening today where, the get by, it's the get by game. And it's sad because this is where a lot of these girls end up gone. And Celeste Hernandez, 12 years old, online talking to a grown man. Yes, it's heartbreaking. Yes, Lala. Well, you're one of the few. Your family is one of the few. Okay? In my neighborhood on 27th and Spring, it still looks the same, but almost everybody on that block are new. They're new. They're not original families. See, back then, our parents bought a home. They passed it down from generation to generation to generation to generation. But when they started that gentrification crap in Seattle, offering all that money to people that owned homes so they could build it up, a lot of those, and it went in line with when the crack epidemic took place. Because remember, the government is who brought that stuff into the community. So they couldn't talk those older people into selling their homes. So they had a plan B. We can't get to the old folks. So we gonna get to the younger people. I knew people that they were offered lots of money for their homes. And the old people said, hell no, get out of here. My grandfather was one of them. They would literally come and knock on the door. And back then when you seen white folks coming through the neighborhood, you was looking at them like, what you doing here? They'd come and knock up on your door like it ain't nothing. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm from the so-and-so organization, and we're looking to purchase land in this area because we want to build a freeway. This was the lie they told. We want to build a bridge, a freeway that goes from here to Bellevue more economically. It turned out to be a lie. A lot of those people did sell their homes, but those that didn't, they waited for them to die. And in the process, they've introduced the crack into the neighborhoods, and their kids are getting addicted to this stuff. So what does those kids do after grandma and grandpa die? They sell the house. That's how it happened. They sold the house. Many cases they did. In many cases in my neighborhood, that didn't quite happen, but when the older people died off, the younger people did eventually sell off the property and moved on. Dearborn and Martin Luther King, 3 blocks down from Jackson. Yep. I'm familiar. Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church right there on Jackson off of MLK. Yep. I'm so familiar with that area. So it's, and this is something that has happened in most major cities. They're trying to make you sell your house now, Mr. Phillips. Don't cave in. Please don't cave in. These big companies are coming in, snatching up all these homes and offering what might appear to be a nice chunk of money. And they'll turn around and they'll build 3 homes on that one property and sell them for 3 times what they paid you for your house. Yep, everything. So in your area, Doodlebird, you said in your area, no sidewalks, no street lights, still on my road. See, you're not in the city. You're in a rural area. That's a little different. But when you're talking about, a community that used to be all black, it was the Red Line District. Okay. Well, Lala, your daddy did a good deal. My grandfather, he wrote his will and wrote my grandmother's will as well. And they both read the same. So my daddy got mad because he was exit out of the will. So he talked my grandmother into selling the house because he couldn't have it. And he didn't, if he couldn't have it, I couldn't have it. They willed it to me. And Daddy talked his mother, my grandmother, into selling that house. And you will not believe how much they sold that house for, Lala. Let me tell you, I hope you're sitting down. My dad, and maybe I'm telling too much of my business, but at this point, I told y'all I'm transparent. My father talked my grandmother in 1988, the year after you graduated, talked her into selling that house for $25,500. If I can't have it, you can't have it. $25,500. Do you know how much that house is worth right now? Close to $1 million. You're right, Millionaires Code. When a child doesn't have to work for what they had been given to them, they don't know the value, so it doesn't mean anything to them. They didn't have to slave to get it, so it doesn't mean anything to them, and that's sad. Absolutely, Doodle Bird. Put 2 houses. Lala, you know what I'm talking about. Them things that look like cracker boxes, saltine boxes. They'll take a house, at least in the CD at least. They will take a house, tear that house down because they want the property it sits on. And they will place 2 homes looking like a saltine box, 2 homes, and sell them for over $850,000 to $900,000 each. And they may have given that property owner maybe $300,000, depending on the condition of the house. So yeah, I thank God for the house I sit in right now. He was good to me because all my life I just knew this is my house. My grandparents made sure that I had a house to raise my family in. But when my daddy did that to me, God was blessing me because I shouldn't even have this house. As bad as my credit was at the time. But that's what a hateful person does. If I can't have it, can't nobody have it. $25,500 for a house. I believe it, Lala. 500,000. Look, them homes in the CD are going for lots of money because they want that property. They want to build up that area. The land is valuable. Some people buy the homes, and if they're a HUD home, they can reconstruct, they can gut it out, build it up like they did my house. They gutted it out, turned it into a 5-bedroom home. It was originally a 2-bedroom. They made it into a 4 or 5-bedroom home, 2 levels. And the last I checked back in, maybe it was about 2008, the market value of that home was $457,000. That was back in the early 2000s. God was good to me and my husband. I had a very vindictive father. Very vindictive. Yep. Yes, Doodle Bird. See, those kind of homes here, those are what they're looking for. They want that property. But this is a common practice in all big cities. If you look at your history of your city, the nearest large city in your area, chances are you're going to find that there was a red line district in that area where that was the only place black people were allowed to purchase homes. That's why you only had black folks living in a certain area, because that was the only place they would allow. The banks would only allow them to buy homes in that area. That's why I was raised in the CD, because the CD was a red line district and my grandparents were black. The biggest city to you is Tacoma? Okay. I can't stand Tacoma. It stinks. That smelter. It doesn't smell as bad as it used to, but But Tacoma, it's okay. It hasn't grown as much as Seattle has, but it's grown a little bit. I heard that, Lala. Your siblings still live there in the CD? I'm glad somebody still lives in that house. I'd hate to see it that they sold it off. Okay. Well, again, I just think that this Green River killer thing, it's almost like a story ready to repeat itself. But this guy, he got away with murder, literally. He was only convicted of 49, but he committed way more than that. He actually said he did. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's other, they said that let me get on that part. Let me share this real quick. I don't want to keep y'all all night because this might be boring you. But this is a part of U.S. history. This is a part of U.S. history that is bound to repeat itself if we're not careful. And I'll just read through this real quick. This is this was December 18th in his trial, 2003 in Seattle. And he received a life sentence without the possibility of parole for killing 48 women over the past 20 years in the Green River Killer serial murder case. It says Gary Ridgeway, one of the country's most notorious serial killers, is reportedly dying in a Washington prison. Imagine that. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Yes, C. Gonzalez, it had a smelter, and it smelt. Exactly, Lala. Parents back then cared about what they left their kids. But we had some parents out there that were very, very vindictive. And see, my dad was one of them that, even though he was my dad, he acted like I was his sister instead of his dad or his daughter. So it was almost like he put us in competition with my grandparents. Like, dude, are you crazy? It says Ridgeway, known as the Green River Killer, is now 76 years old and is receiving end-of-life care in the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla, according to several sources with knowledge of his condition, who spoke with Washington-based radio station Cairo. He's been in prison since 2003. When he pleaded guilty to killing 48 women in the 80s and 90s, Ridgeway has maintained over the decades that he is responsible for killing somewhere between 75 and 80 women during his reign of terror. Ridgeway targeted vulnerable women. Most of his victims were sex workers or runaways. Does that ring a bell? sex workers or runaways. Celeste Hernandez was considered a runaway with little familial support. They're targets. He would sexually assault and strangle them before dumping their bodies. He was nicknamed the Green River Killer because his first victims were found near the Green River. Ridgeway dumped some of his victims in Oregon, later saying that he'd done so to confuse police. While living in Seattle, Ridgeway evaded attention from law enforcement for years, even after several brushes with them. Thank God for technology now, because they didn't have the technology back then that they have now. In 1980, Ridgeway was arrested for allegedly choking an SEX worker. No charges were filed. This is how messed up this shit is. No charges were filed after he claimed the woman attacked him by biting him. Police believe his most significant killing spree began shortly after this incident. 1982, Ridgeway unalived a 16-year-old girl who ran away from her foster home. He dumped her body near the river. Her body was found a week later. Police believe a serial is at work in the area after a rash of dead women were found. Ridgeway is an unofficial suspect, certainly on police radar. He hasn't even been arrested yet. 1983, Ridgeway is brought in and questioned again by law enforcement, this time about the disappearance of a SEX worker whom a witness had seen getting into his truck. He denied the allegations. 1984, Ridgeway took a polygraph test regarding the 1983 missing SEX worker and passed. Authorities even found an old report from police in 1982 where they made contact with Ridgeway and a SEX worker who were together in a parked car. 2 years later, a woman's body was found nearby. Look at all these times where he evaded police. And was this poor police work? I don't know. 1987, police obtained a search warrant for Ridgeway's home and work. Evidence was taken, including rope and carpet fibers, none of which matched anything linked to the victims. DNA was taken from Ridgeway. Despite being on the police's radar and even perhaps a witness placing him as the last person seen with a now missing SEX worker, Ridgeway was not arrested. Ain't that a blip? DNA technology wouldn't be advanced enough until more than a decade later, when a match was made between a semen sample taken from a victim and Ridgeway in 2001. He is serving 48 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. As part of his plea deal, he revealed the location of undiscovered bodies. His youngest known victim was 14-year-old Wendy Stevens, who had run away from home and was strangled to death in 1983. It wasn't until 2024 that Ridgeway's last known victim was positively identified as 16-year-old Tammy Lyles. She was known only as Bones 20 and had been identified as a victim in 1988. Cairo spoke with the Washington Department of Corrections, which could not confirm whether Ridgeway was receiving end-of-life care. As far as I'm concerned, he don't deserve no kind of care. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. End-of-life care. No, just lay there and just, go when you go. These are inaccurate rumors, they said, but it's true. He really is dying. Rachel Erickson, the Deputy Communications Director with DOC, wrote, "While we are not able to provide much detail about incarcerated individuals' medical information, we are able to confirm that Gary Ridgeway has not had any change to his medical condition." That's not true. Hello, Cassandra. So again, I'm sorry. Why are you so protective of this man's rights to privacy? I don't understand it. I'm not understanding that at all. Oh, here's one more thing I got to share with you. Actually, there's two, but you got to see this one. This is what this joker look like now. This is him. Why the Green River Killer was transferred to King County last year. This is dated March 7, 2025. Gary L. Ridgeway, the Green River Killer, who has pleaded guilty to murdering nearly 50 young women and teens, was in King County last year because he told detectives he could help them find more remains of victims according to court documents. He bamboozled them people. He really did. He bamboozled the King County Sheriff's Department, in my opinion. The King County Sheriff's Office stayed hush-hush when Ridgeway was transported from the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla to the King County Jail. That's in downtown Seattle. On Friday, court documents related to the transfer were unsealed. Ridgeway, now 76, has been serving 49 consecutive life sentences at the prison in Walla Walla. He pled guilty to 48 unalivings in 2003 and pleaded guilty in 2011 to unaliving his 49th victim, 20-year-old Rebecca Marrero. In exchange for pleading guilty and helping detectives find some of his victims' remains, Ridgeway was spared the death penalty. Hey, Minnie's curls. No remorse, honey. None at all. And we're supposed to just, okay, whatever. The fact that they cut a deal with this dude kills me. According to the unsealed court documents, Ridgeway told sheriff detectives he could take them to locations in King County where he left the remains of victims that had yet to be recovered. Previous efforts to find these locations based on the verbal descriptions given by Ridgeway have not been successful. King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office spokesperson Casey McNerney, what's her name? McNerney, said in a statement, Ridgeway indicated that he believes he can find these locations in person. So basically, he's dangling this carrot in front of them so he can get out again, so he can get some fresh air. I got some more I can take you to. Looky here. Man, miss me. When asked whether additional remains were in fact discovered, Sheriff spokesperson Captain Tim Meyer declined to comment as the involved cases remain open. When Ridgeway pleaded guilty, prosecutors acknowledged that in the decades since the crimes were committed, development, animal activity, and other impacts have likely destroyed evidence. Yes, he wanted a field trip, Sloan. Almost all of the 49 known killings occurred between 1982 and 1984, although Ridgeway later told detectives he unalived as recently as 1998. Many of his victims were SEX workers. By his own count, Ridgeway believed he'd unalived as many as 71 people starting when he was a teen. He's throwing out all kind of numbers. Ridgeway's attorney, Michelle Shaw, said in a statement she did not know if any remains were found as she was not present for the meetings with detectives. Shaw said 76-year-old Ridgeway, who appeared thin and haggard in a photo from last year released by the Department of Corrections, is presenting with aging issues. The documents were sealed after a prosecutor argued that public knowledge of Ridgeway's return to King County could jeopardize the investigation and endanger him. Endanger him? Do you think I give two shits about his what? Could jeopardize the investigation and endanger him. Let him be in danger. The transport team and sheriff's detectives. Let somebody in. Come here. Here he is. Get him. That burns me up. The prosecutor filed a motion in March saying there are no compelling reasons to keep the order for transport sealed. The transport order was the first document added to Ridgeway's case filed since 2017. Ridgeway was transported from the prison in Walla Walla on September 9th, booked into the King County Jail, and returned to Walla Walla on September 13th. So he got his little field trip. Yes, he got his little field trip. Given Ridgeway's age and health, it was anticipated the process would take several days, McNerthy says. Last year, the last known set of remains linked to Ridgeway was identified as belonging to Everett teenager Tammy Lyles. Lyles' bones and some teeth were found in South King County in 2003 after Ridgeway led investigators to the site. Officials also found partial remains in 1985 in Tigard, Oregon, and identified them as Lyles through dental records. So he took part of her to Oregon. He threw her away in one part and took some more and took them over to another state. Lord Jesus. The investigation continues to find other missing women and identify other potential victims, according to the sheriff's office. Anyone who may have information is asked to call 206-263-2130. This is sick. He's still playing games in prison. Still playing games in prison. I promise I got one more thing because I'm proud of this woman. I have got to show you Faye. Faye. Detective Faye. She goes to my church. I'm proud of her. She was a detective, and I'll let the clip.
I'm Fox 13 Evening News anchor Sabira Rayford. You're about to meet a woman who unapologetically made history her story. Chief Fabian Brooks was the first Black woman to become a commissioned deputy at the King County Sheriff's Office. Her storied law enforcement career is decorated with firsts, but her resilience and dedication is what forged the path, making sure she wasn't the last.
You ready?
How do you measure impact? The weight of an award?
It says recognition of excellence.
The prestige of a title?
Presented to Chief Fabian Brooks, retired sheriff, King County.
Or is it the stranger you never saw coming?
I found an old picture of you. Would you like
Oh,
to
you sure
sign?
did. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, here's another one. Well, I'll be darned. That brings back a lot of memories.
I am very proud that we have you in our office.
Oh,
Thank you.
man. That touched my heart. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I never think about that. I was just trying to be the best person I could be, right?
It's my pleasure to honor you.
I need another hug.
I am so proud of her. I am so proud of her. Right here in Seattle. Wow. I had to put this up in honor of her too.
Reflections of the past, revealing an unplanned legacy.
Would you believe yourself back then if you could go back and visit young Faye?
No, I couldn't see that far.
It all started in 1978 when Chief Fabian Brooks was hired by the King County Sheriff's Office and attended the training academy.
I felt like it was meant to be, that this was, something that I was destined to try.
She was the only woman in her class.
I had a lot of support.
And some who were ready to challenge her presence.
And sitting on the ground, and this one recruit officer.
Look at this picture. How many black folks do you see in this picture beside her? None. None. She broke barriers here. She broke barriers here. Now look at all these white men and this one young sister right down here. As you can see, this is why I'm so proud of her. Absolutely Millionaire's Gold.
I'm not quite sure what he was thinking about, but he came and he grabbed me to like tease me, and he started swinging me around, and I said, "Put me down." And I guess I'm yelling at it, but I said, "Put me down." When he finally did, all I can remember doing is getting up and I hit him. I guess it got to people understanding that I'll take something to a certain point, but don't take me past it.
She graduated at the top of her recruiting class and was sworn in as a commissioned deputy. Years later, while helping with recruiting, is when she found out from a woman in personnel she had made history.
I asked her, who was the first black woman hired as a deputy for the sheriff's office? And she looked at me and she said, "You." And I'm like, "Me?"
It was the first of many firsts to come.
I was a rookie, then became a commissioned deputy, then a detective, media relations officer, been a sergeant, lieutenant, promoted to captain, appointed to major, then was appointed to chief of detectives, and then the first black officer with the sheriff's office to attend the FBI Academy as well.
But let's rewind.
Tonight, we're taking you behind locked doors of the investigation's war room.
To the 80s, one of the most pivotal points in her storied law enforcement career.
During the detective era, I was with the Green River Task Force for a number of years.
A task force formed around the Green River Killer, a man later identified as Gary Ridgeway, who murdered and tortured at least 48 women between 1982 and 2001.
He has a way about him that gets these girls to come with him. And that's something that we all think about, I'm sure.
Already working in the sex crimes unit, Chief Brooks was added to the task force after Marsha Chapman's body was discovered in August of 1982. She says Chapman had survived another attack before her murder.
I investigated her case. I went out to her house, and she decided she didn't want to pursue it, which is her choice, right? So the case was closed. When the women that were found along Green River in August, she was one of those victims. And when I learned it was her, it really touched me to my core.
At times, the work felt personal.
I think they're all our daughters in a way. We've come to know them better than their families did because of
She took this to heart. She really did. She took this to heart. And I mean, she sacrificed quite a bit of her own personal self to bring some justice to these families. Millionaires Cove says, "You go, girl." We all say that about her.
the investigations that we've done on them.
Knowing the feeling of violation.
Part of my life experience is growing up in a household with that, both with sex abuse and with domestic violence. And I realized that I could talk with the perpetrator and get them to say what they did.
Accountability.
It helped me be the compassionate, kind person that I am because of what I've been through and what I've been able to forgive.
Turning the page on pain to help begin a new chapter for women in law enforcement.
When I became sergeant in sex crimes, there was a process by which you filled vacancies as a detective moved on. And so there were two sergeants who had gone through and interviewed people and had a list. And then one of the sergeants got promoted and I came in as a new sergeant. and a vacancy came in. And the number one person on the list happened to be a Black woman. And I had already worked with her, so I knew she was competent, qualified. She had lateraled over from another agency. So the other sergeant and I looked at the list and said, yeah, let's pick her. Well, the rumor came out that, well, the only reason why she got that job is because she's a friend of Faye's. And my response to that was, so you guys don't say that when you put in a white guy? A friend of, what's his name? So what difference does that make? She's competent.
Hoisting a ladder through the glass ceiling she helped shatter.
So here we are.
Back in a sheriff's office that doesn't just look different.
This was 1971.
Lala, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Kinfolk family. I appreciate you, love. Thank you. Shout out to you.
When there were officers on the sheriff's office.
It feels different.
Good to see you. Good to see you too.
What's your legacy?
She didn't let people tell her no. She had a sense of humor, could tell jokes, was committed to doing a good job, and treated people with dignity and respect, understanding how true it is that what you're going through now is really preparing you for what's coming next. And my grandmother always said, you got to go through it to get to it.
Get to it. That's
and
right.
I'm always like, what was she talking about? Yep, you got to go through some things to get to where you're going.
Chief Brooks' contributions have gone far beyond Washington. While working the Green River case, she actually came up with the term person of interest. What an amazing legacy.
Wow. It's good to see her again because I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't been to the church in a while. I ain't gonna lie. I come to the South Campus. She goes to the North. But it's really nice to be able to uplift somebody and say, I know this woman. But Lala, thank you so much. I am so glad you found me too. Yes, yes, yes. So again, I just, I focused on this particular story because we have the same kind of thing to worry about today. Even though this happened a long time ago, we're still in a time where our young girls are going out running these streets without no supervision, and it's not safe out there anymore. It wasn't safe then, but it's even more dangerous now. And for the boys too. To this day, my grandson walks from school to his cousin's house, and I make him call me every day while he's walking alone because I don't know what could jump out and snatch him. And he's got a cell phone. Love you too, sweetheart. I'll see you when you get home. Wake me up if I'm asleep. Or better yet, sit up for me if I'm not here. But I'll probably be here. But yeah, I just wanted to give her props as well. But we've got to do a due diligence for these kids. I know that if you don't have kids of your own that age, you might have granddaughters. You might have friends that have girls that age. And we've got to make sure that they're protected. They need to understand how dangerous this world is. There's jokers just like this still walking the streets today. And Celeste Hernandez is just another point of what I'm saying. Put him on your 360 app. Do I have a 360 app? Tell me what is a 360 app and I'll get one. It's very dangerous out here, Doodlebird, for real. You have a 12-year-old granddaughter. Yep, you got to watch him. You got to watch him. I make Xavion call me every day on his way home to his Don't hang up the phone until you get there. Because God forbid if something happened to that boy, y'all will never see me on YouTube again unless it's me going to jail. I ain't gonna lie. I'll hurt somebody behind my grandkids. Yes, absolutely, mini pearls. They were very prolific back then because we pretty much, we felt more comfortable going where we needed to go. We traveled in groups back then. But even now, that's not even safe. But any kid that is walking alone, there's something need to be done about that. I'm sorry. Because we got some nutcases out there just like this jackass that's sitting in prison right now. So I hope that this live brought some awareness as to what we really need to pay attention to. Because like I said, Celeste Hernandez, she was considered a runaway. Okay, Doodoo Bird. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating. Celeste Hernandez was considered a runaway, and she wound up in the trunk of someone's car. And in retrospect, and even in comparison to these young ladies, very much the same. Oh, okay, Lala. Okay. I have mine in my iPhone. I keep their location at all times. So, yeah, I have something close to that in my iPhone. So I know what you mean. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight, and just be mindful of, the kids. You may not have your own. You may not have daughters or sons of your own, but you may have grandkids, great-grandkids, neighbors, relatives. Just make sure that they don't lose sight of just how crazy this place that we live in is. Okay? So I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And I should be back tomorrow, God willing. In the meantime, y'all stay cool. Love you.
Hey there, my kinfolk. Thanks for stopping by. Auntie Mickey's house, where we reach for the sky. Every comment and smile, you make my heart glow. Together we're strong, together we grow. From gossip to politics, we cover it all. Sharing laughs and thoughts, having a ball. Your support means everything that I know. Feels like family here in this sweet show. So let's keep it flowing, keep the love alive. Every moment together makes me thrive. You're more than viewers, you're my kinfolk. You see, my gratitude runs deep as the sea. Thank you for being here, for sharing your time with each comment, with each rhyme. You're my kinfolk, my family, my crew. So much love to all of you. Turn up the camera, let's make it bright. Your support lifts me up, takes flight.